Our friend Baron Black has been on a losing streak in AEW and a winning streak in promoting events. Battle Slam Vendetta looks to be a good show, but you know what? He's got to protect himself in that AEW ring, just like you need to protect yourself online with NordVPN.com/Fightful threat protection. Block online trackers, block annoying pop-up ads, block malware. Unfortunately, you can't block taking L's in an AEW ring. I'm sorry, Baron. But you know what you can do? You can change your virtual location with just one click with the fastest VPN in the world. If you're somewhere geographically and you're not able to watch certain shows, NordVPN.com/Fightful has you covered, and they have a great deal and an additional month free on your deal. Not only that, 30-day money-back guarantee on NordVPN.com/Fightful, so if you don't like it for any reason, you'll get your money back. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Use it on all your devices. The best VPN in the world. What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful here with a name you know. We spoke to him just a few months ago about Terminus. Now we're back talking about Battle Slam Vendetta, April 24th in Atlanta. We got Baron Black. Baron, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty damn good, man. How you doing yourself, Sean?
I'm doing great. I mean, you got a busy week ahead of you. As I asked off the air, I was like, "Are you excited?" You're like, "Well, kind of." But it's got to be really hectic to put on a show like this, even though you've done a few now.
Uh, yeah, I've done a few. I've done a few successful ones. You might have heard of it before. It's called Terminus, Terminus 2. But this one, Battle Slam, is a little bit different. Just a little bit different. There's a little bit of difference between what has been done before.
So I'm made of questions right now. First off, why Battle Slam as opposed to a third Terminus? Because I know you all had a pretty distinct vision for those Terminus shows. Will those continue? And I'm just interested to pick your brain about all these.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this. At the end of Terminus 2, Terminus 3 was already announced.
Okay.
So Terminus 3 is happening, and it will have a lot of details about Terminus 3 very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. And you hit the nail right on the head. There's a very distinctive thing we're trying to do with Terminus, and we're going to stay true to that. Out of Terminus' success came an opportunity that was bestowed upon me when it presented Battle Slam. Now, Battle Slam is something of a little kid, dream that I had as a child. Taking these two worlds and bringing them together, which is hip hop and professional wrestling, and you can obviously tell where the inspiration came from. So after the Terminus shows, I had some very important people contact me about this certain situation and a certain type of event. And I was like, hell yeah, we need to do that. Hell yeah, we need to do that. So that's where the creation of Battle Slam has come from. It's always been something in the back of my mind that I could potentially do sometime, but it just fell in my lap at this point. So I was like, full steam ahead, all cylinders, let's go do it. And you know what I mean? That's how we approached Terminus 2 when opportunity for Terminus itself, when opportunity presented itself. So when this opportunity presented itself and it fell right in my lap, I was like, all systems go. Let's go. All gas, no brakes. Let's try to do it. Let's try to finally make what's something that professional wrestling should have done a long time ago, which is bringing the world of hip hop and its culture and cross over with the world of professional wrestling, because it makes a good mix. It flows very well together.
So obviously there's a big Def Jam Vendetta influence on this show as based on the name and the imagery and all that. One of the most fondly remembered wrestling games of all the time came out of nowhere with how great it was. I assume that had an influence on you growing up, as it did many.
Yeah, it definitely had an influence on me. Everybody know what the games were back in those days. After you finally got, past, the Here Comes the Pains, the Know Your Roles, the No Mercies, the WrestleMania 2000s. And you had to shift, console generations, you know what I mean? And then the next thing that you had was what was it, WrestleMania 18? We're not going to talk about that one, but we're going to keep moving it forward. And and finally, we got to this game called Jam Vendetta, and man, one of the greatest wrestling games ever created. It was really something that took everybody by surprise when it first came out. I still remember the commercial around. It was like poetry. It spoke to me back then when I was a kid, and I thoroughly enjoyed that game. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, this is something that should actually happen in real life. And surprisingly, nobody has took that idea and ran with it until now.
So, I mean, this specifically, like the inspiration behind from Vendetta to Vendetta, is something you've had in mind for a while, as you mentioned. Like, how early were you like, man, we could run a wrestling show and it could have this type of influence?
Um, early, it's kind of like the situation where you always have, priority ideas, and
Yeah.
then you have those, the side ideas on the side of your head all the time. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I could do this sometime, or maybe I could do this sometime. That's what Battle Slam was to me. And then obviously everything has to fall in place. You know what I mean? And everything did fall in place, and then it was very interested. People was very interested in creating an event like that. When I say people, I'm talking about people here in the Atlanta hip hop scene that really wanted to see something like that because they had actually watched Terminus and they liked what they saw, and they wanted to see if the two different worlds can actually coexist under one thing. And I was like, you know what, my side quest is calling me. I have to do this side quest. It's like playing any RPG. You can't ignore the side quest too much. You know what I mean? After a while, you get sucked into one of those side quests, and that's exactly what Battle Slam, has done for me.
I noticed Jonathan Gresham isn't on that show. Is it because you think he's a terrible wrestler?
Listen, let me tell you something. Jonathan Gresham, my best bro, my BFF, or whatever the hell you want to call it these days. He is one of the best, if not the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
He is a world champion. You know what I mean? And he finally got to be on a national stage with AEW and Battle of the Belts this past Saturday. And I'm very happy for him. You know what I mean? Jonathan Gresham is a hot commodity right now. So Jonathan Gresham wasn't even available to be on this show. So that's why you don't see him. So, but he's definitely not a terrible wrestler. He's probably going to go down as one of the best to ever do it.
I would agree. And you have a ton of talent already announced for this show that also has nationally exposed, worldwide exposed experience, including yourself, Max Caster, Lee Moriarty, Leon Ruff, Darius Martin, even Shaza McKenzie, who we thankfully got to see get kicked in the face at the Battle Royal a couple years ago. She just got like powerbomb pile driven through a table, and she's still showing up to work next week. My God, like you guys you're pulling out a lot of names for this show. Some really interesting matchups, including yourself against Lee Moriarty, which I love an awful lot. I mean, in addition to competing, you're booking these matches. What goes into it for you? Is it the type of thing where it's like, well, if I like it, somebody else is probably going to like it?
That plays a small factor into putting these matches together. I really thought about, I wanted to see certain matchups that we don't get to see. As on, when it comes to wrestling and the independent circuit, you kind of see some of the same matchups often. And I wanted to try to put some matchups together that people haven't seen. And that was my very first core focus when putting these matches together on this card for Battle Slam Vendetta. And hopefully I think I did a good job.
I think you did. There's good stuff. C4 and the Infantry, which is one that I really like. You all can go to eventbrite.com, and the page is updated better than most events that I see, like talent announcements, match announcements. It really keeps you up to date with everything. But in addition to that, You got Josiah Williams, who I got to see perform for the first time at the AEW concert. He's so good. You got Pastor Troy announced for this show.
That's right. DSGB himself.
How does this
in
come
the
together?
building.
Like, do you know Pastor Troy like completely separate from this, or did you just book him?
Well, I have a couple of friends, a couple of homies who do know him on that type of level.
Okay.
Me, I was a fan. I was going through school, listening to his music, getting in trouble, quoting his lyrics, going to ISS, getting suspended. So it was like, it was like when I finally got to meet him and I told him what I was trying to do, and it was really cool to finally meet him or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you don't know how much you really was the guy for a certain type of generation, especially in the Southeast and especially in the Atlanta area. And he understood it, and he's a huge wrestling fan. And once I told him what I was doing and where I work, and he was just all for it. It was very, very seamless process. It was very easy. He said, I'm down. I'm with it. Whatever you need. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to really do this. It's going to be pretty dope. So, yeah, I got him, to commit pretty early on. He's really excited about it. He really wants to do it. This is going to be the first type of event he does, surprisingly, considering that he's been a rapper for so long and he's been heavy influenced by wrestling, as you can tell by when he carries around the big gold, with him and everything he does. So this is going to be his first wrestling event, and I'm glad it's with Battle Slam.
And I mean, we've seen the hip hop wrestling crossover work really well for Wale Mania. I mean, my God, that was a huge party that took place at Wale Mania in Dallas, and I mean, just wildly successful. We've seen Triller on a completely other end of the spectrum be like, let's bring in musical acts in between these fights. And they want more of a party atmosphere than necessarily a fight atmosphere. They want people to get together at their house, turn on the Triller fights, watch the performances, all that. Is there anything, like, is there any template that you can draw a little bit from? Because this is unique to wrestling.
It's hard because there really isn't template out there per se. Like you said, with Triller, they just now starting to try to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's and this is going to be the first time where professional wrestling and live concert hip hop is going to cross over into one event. So there wasn't really much to draw from. I just basically had to put on my mad scientist hat and to be like, okay, how can this flow together as a cohesive show? And hopefully I do think I have the formula that will work very well. And but from the hip hop world and the professional wrestling world is that both crowds really feed off the energy of the performers. And that's what they have as a common denominator between the two. And I think if we can touch on that, we'll have a very good, solid, flowing show.
You have mentioned in the past that you have worked with Satnam Singh, who debuted in AEW last week. I asked QT Marshall. He said that guy has not missed a day of training. He's worked really hard. His debut got criticized an awful lot. 2 days later, he comes back on Rampage, has an awesome showing. He looks wonderful. So far, there's so many question marks around this guy. What can you tell us that maybe people don't know?
All I can tell you is me training at Nightmare Factory regularly and seeing him. He has not missed a day of training. He has been there every day. He's fully committed to being a professional wrestler. He loves it. His family loves it. And he definitely wants to make his family and his country proud. So he's really been working hard to really, learn all he can and be great at what he does, and especially for his size. So I'm glad everybody got to see, some of what he can do at Battle of the Belts, because that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we have seen this man do stuff in training that 7-footers should not be able to do. To put it like that. So it's like, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when he finally goes loose and goes crazy. They're going to be surprised. I think that's the best thing I can tell people. You're going to be surprised by what actually he can do, and I can't wait to see it.
We haven't necessarily seen you wrestling as much in AEW of late. You still on good terms there? Everything's still good to go? Did you go and push Tony Khan down backstage and put your finger in his face and say, "I should be winning"?
I knew this was gonna come up. I knew this was gonna come up. Look,
what happened? What happened?
Nothing happened. I'm strategically trying to figure out who my next opponent should be. Okay. Because as much as y'all do, as much as I want to do, I'm ready to end this streak. I'm at 0-48. The record breaker is 0-50.
Oh.
I will be in the record books if I get to 0-50. So I only got 2 times to really get it done. So I've been in the lab. I've been of course I've been training. I've been in the lab and trying to figure out the perfect opponent to face next, because this will mark my 2-year anniversary with AEW this month at the end of the month. And of course, everybody know I debuted against Sean Spears on Dynamite, April 2020. It's now April 2022. This is definitely the longest losing streak in AEW history, and I'm not trying to break that record, Sean.
Of course,
I'm not trying to break that record.
You're trying to get nasty. You're gonna try to get Nasty Leroy signed or something.
This one thing I would do for sure. I'm not going to take the easy way out. I'm not taking the easy way out.
Okay.
My pathway from April 2020 to April 2022 has been top tier competition. Nobody has faced more top tier, all elite talent in that time frame than me, especially on AEW Dark and especially on AEW Dark Elevation. Nobody has had that strength of schedule like I have. I don't want that to change, but I do have to take a step back and understand that the Emperor ain't breaking this damn record. And we're going to get this dub, and I'm going to figure out who the next opponent should be. And I'm not going to make it easy on myself because I want the challenge. But I do want to make sure it's the right opponent that I know I've studied enough that I know I can defeat.
Right here, GCW main eventer. Right
here. That's
my first match back in like 3 years, and they said, "You got to main event this show." Josh Barnett walked out. He looked me in the eyes, and he didn't touch me. He was trembling in fear. Like, listen, I'll help you study tape. I'll help get you ready. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Man. Well, we've got, again, Battle Slam Vendetta coming up. I think you froze up on me. Oh, you froze up on me. There we go. We got you back now. We got Battle Slam Vendetta coming up April 24th. Anything else you want the people to know? I mean, this card looks so good. You've got such an array of talent. Also Fuego. But you've got such an array of talent on this show. Tell the people like a little bit of something else about this show that might sway them on showing up to the building in Atlanta.
We have a lot of great things in store. Not only do we have an excellent card, you know what I mean, which features Fuego del Sol versus Alex King. We have
hell of a match.
Leon Ruff versus Darius Martin. We also have Casey Navarro versus Shoot Taylor. We have the Infantry versus C4, which is a prestige tag team title match. On top of that, we also have a great free-for-all eliminator match where we have Queen Aminata versus Janai Kai versus Robin Renegade versus Angelica Riss. We also have Sasha versus Ashley. And we have a few other matches that will be announced in the next couple of days. And of course, you have me versus Tiger Style, Lee Moriarty, We're finally going to settle this beef that we have.
I love it.
Me and Lee finally going to settle this beef. I'm slander he's been spewing for the last 6, 7, 9 months. We finally going to settle this in the ring. You know what I mean? This is a match that was supposed to happen 2 years ago before the pandemic, but now it's finally happened. And he's gonna pay for all that slander.
Oh.
We also have performances by none other than Pastor Troy, Mr. DSGB himself. You know what I mean? This the city. No more playing GA. I want war, vice versa. Y'all know the whole catalog. We also have what I call him this, and he's gonna get mad that I say this. The theme song GOAT and Josiah Williams.
He is. He's great. He's so good.
the master. His energy on stage is unparalleled. You've seen him perform at the AEW Revolution concert, and I was there in attendance as I got on stage with him, and he's great. We also have 2 other artists, which we will announce in the next couple of days, that will also be performing. Those are going to be very special ones as well. And we have a live DJ. We got a Billboard charting DJ Markel V, who's going to be live DJing the whole event. So that's going to be a whole nother avenue and a whole nother experience to a professional wrestling event that you have not seen before, having a live DJ, a popular live DJ, DJing the event. Also, we have a lot of special guests that's going to be in attendance. So you have to be there to figure out who those guys are.
Check it out, my friends.
We have a lot of special guests from the...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, we have a lot of special guests from professional wrestling. And we have a lot of special guests from the world of hip-hop. So you have to be there in the building to figure out who those guys are, to see who those guys are.
Guys, check it out. Battle Slam Vendetta on April 24th. We always love talking to Baron Black. You've always got something new to talk about. And hopefully we have you back again soon. Baron, thank you so much.
No problem. Make sure y'all go follow.
Guys, the Twitter handle right underneath his face right there. Until next time, guys, we're out.